took.
We good to sing?
Yeah, sing a song.
Okay. 397. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. I have decided to follow Jesus. No turning back. No turning back. Though no one join me, still I will follow. Though no one join me, still I will follow. Though no one join me, still I will follow. No turning back. No turning back. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. The world behind me, the cross before me. No turning back, no turning back.
All right, great. Boys and girls, you can have a seat. And what we got for you this afternoon, I am very, very excited about. Brother Steve Holt from our church went through our Bible school. He's going to come in just a minute. He's going to take about 30 minutes, really as long as he wants. He just got back from 9 years on the mission field in Sierra Leone, West Africa, one of the poorest nations on the face of the earth. Retired from the Coast Guard. No spoiler or anything. I'm just going to tell you, he retired from the Coast Guard and decided his retirement would be to come to Bible school and go to the mission field and serve God. And they have done incredible, incredible things for the cause of Christ in Sierra Leone. Boys and girls, these people are heroes. Brother Steve, Sister Laura Holt are peoples whose lives will matter for time and for eternity. You want to look up to somebody? Don't make it a fornicating athlete. You look up to somebody, don't make it a slutty singer. You want to look up to somebody investing their life in souls. Piling up riches, not right here, but over there at the judgment seat of Christ, where you can have something to cast at the feet of the one who died for us. Brother Steve Holt is a modern-day missionary hero. And I'd like you to do this. I'd like you to stand. And Brother Steve, I'd like you to come. I'd like you to welcome with a round of applause. Just give honor to whom honor is due.
Now what? Isaiah chapter 1. Going to jump around a lot of verses this afternoon, folks. Listen, I'm no hero. I am no hero. I don't have any special skills. I don't have anything special. And I just really appreciate all that this church has done, continues to do, in supporting churches around, not only here, but around the world. There's a lot of people out there that you're going to meet that have a burden for souls. They just love the Lord Jesus Christ and want to see him honored. Brother David asked me to give a brief a challenge, a charge. So what I want to do is, listen, Brother Lee said it already. He said it all. You can't sit under that kind of preaching and not learn something. But look, what are we here for? What's the youth rally for? Revival? No, not really. But it sure enough has an influence that should last a long, long time in your young lives. So it's part of the learning thing. It's part of that learning experience. Listen, learning is life. Life is balanced, at least it should be. So what are you having? You're having a lot of fun. You're enjoying one another's company. You love singing together. You love playing these games. There's some pretty bizarre games, brother. I don't know where you got some of that. You got to have an imagination to come up with that stuff. So look, the fun, we've had that. We'll have more. Singing, it's fun. We'll do some more. But learning is balanced. Life is balanced. Learning is balanced. At least it should be. So look what it says over in Isaiah. What did I say? Isaiah chapter 1, right? Let's go down to verse 16. Wash you, make you clean. Put away the evil of your doings. The evil? From before mine eyes, cease to do evil. Now look, brethren, and I'm not trying to put a wet blanket on the fun, but look, according to that, our natural propensity is to be evil, to do evil. Look, we don't take guns and shoot people in school. We don't bomb abortion clinics and whatnot. But evil isn't just there. Evil isn't just there. Evil is all around you. Look, you're down like this. You got your cell phone in your hand, and you're trying to pretend that you're reading the Bible on it, but in reality, what are you doing? You're texting somebody, you're reading somebody's text, you're looking at pictures, whatever. Come on. Now look, it's evil. It really is. I mean, so look, all I'm trying to get to is that, look, you're going to learn. No matter what you do, you're going to learn. The moment you took your first breath, you started in on that learning career. And so what I want you to do for a few minutes this afternoon is we're going to break that thing down into thirds, okay? Now look, all of us are in that learning career. It never stops. But right now, most of you are in the apex of your learning time. So if you take your life, let's say you're going to live to be 90 years old, okay? So the first third of your life is about 30 years, okay? So up to about 25, 30s, early 30s, that's the major learning time of your life. Now, as a baby, the first time something came out of your mouth, you learned from that experience. You summons the mama, you got daddy up in the middle of the night, you wanted, okay? So you learned that noise, they get conditioned to that sound and they respond to your demand, okay? You start learning. Now, we're well past all of that. But now look. 17. Where am I here? Verse 17, learn to do well. Cease to do evil, but learn to do well. So it doesn't come naturally. You've got to learn. That's why you're here. Out in the world, you can learn anything you want except to do well. You're not going to learn it out there. You might learn some humanism. You might learn some good morals and whatnot. Probably not. But you're going to learn. You're going to learn by watching that phone you've got going all the time, the texting you're going. You're going to building up those muscles on your thumbs. Come on now. You're learning. What are you putting in? Goes through the eye gate, goes through the ear gate, and it affects this. And that determines the outcome of your life. That first third of your life is that learning phase, phase one, right? Keep going. Go down to, well, all right, let's do this. I'm going to flat run out of time here. I want you to do this. Go over to Proverbs. Let's spend a little bit of time in Proverbs. Go down to Proverbs 13. Now, learning. I want you to understand something, folks. I live in a country where, first off, to give you a little background, Sierra Leone is one of the single most difficult countries to live in. It's the least safest country for women to give birth in, and it's I think the third hungriest country in the world. Now, on top of all of that, you've got an over 70% illiteracy rate. Now you think about that. 7 out of 10 people you talk with every single day of your life can't read a single word. It's an incredible thing. They've lost their learning experience, at least anything good. Give them a gospel tract, they don't know what to do with it. Brethren, you're so blessed. We are so blessed. We're Americans. We are so, so blessed. Just the simple fact that you've got public schools available to you, you've got homeschool available to you, the fact that you can read, you can sit here today and hold a Bible in your laps and read that thing and comprehend it. I'm afraid until it's been taken away from you, you don't really appreciate just how serious that is. Look at Proverbs chapter 13. We're talking about learning, okay? Chapter 13, I want you to go down to verse 18. Poverty and shame. That's what happens when you can't read. That's what happens when you don't learn. Poverty and shame shall be to him that refuseth instruction. Now, that's not your problem. That's not my problem. But we can sure enough refuse the instruction. What is it? Oh, I'll tell you what. How about, we're downtown last night and you try to give somebody a gospel tract and they just, get away from me, you fool. Refusing instruction. And so what's going to happen to them? Poverty and shame. Poverty and shame. Okay, you say poverty in America, not so. Okay, maybe not physical poverty, but spiritual poverty. And shame is coming. Shame is coming. Education, learning is so important. That's why you're here. This is part of your learning experience, all right? Now, let's see. Look at verse 13. Whoso despiseth the word shall be destroyed, but he that feareth the commandment shall be rewarded. See, there's a reward at the end of this learning thing. That's what it's for. Go down to chapter 6, verse 23. Now look at this. The commandment is a lamp, and the law is a light. And reproofs of instruction are the way of life. This is why we want you to learn. This is what we want you to learn. Now look, as I said, in my country, over 70% illiteracy. But worse than that, culturally, they are discouraged. Young people are discouraged from learning. And part of the reason for that is they're very proud people. Now, what they got to be proud about, it's culture. But look, if my granddaughter were to approach me in public and say, "Pa, why? Why did you do that? Why did you say that?" That's the last time she'd say that. That is the very last time she'd say that. She would be embarrassing me. She would be shaming me, okay? So from a young age, those children are taught not to ask questions. They're discouraged from asking questions. We encourage that. Culturally, we encourage that. Ask people, ask your father, ask your mother, ask these older people. Attach yourself to a younger, more experienced person. I'm not talking about me. I don't know anything. You look around. There's some brilliant people here. There's some very experienced men and women here. Talk to them. Find out what's going on inside. Why do they do what they do? Those questions are never asked over there. And the country, for generations now, has just been complete. It's falling apart. It's in its death knell. Now look. Go down to let's go down to chapter 15. Watch this. Verse 10, correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. And now that's my country. That's the people I deal with every day. They're not going to receive correction. They're not going to receive instruction. They're in poverty. They're heading for eternal shame. And yet they refuse to receive the truth. Why? Because they're embarrassed. It's a great shame for an older person not to have an answer for a young person's question. That's why the young people are discouraged from asking questions. They're going to die. They're going to die stupid because their pride, their culture will not allow them to come face to face with somebody else who's younger than them, but more educated than them, more experienced than them, and can lend them instruction. They won't do it. You will. You should. I beg you to. Ask as many questions as often as you can. That's how you learn. Extend this learning career as long as you can. Okay, I gotta move along. Let's do this. Go over to, go down to verse 32. Let's jump down to verse 32. 15:32. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul. Okay? That's how you're going to learn, folks. That's how you're going to learn how to apply what Brother Lee just told you all about. Start asking questions. You need to start applying some of this stuff. It's a lot of fun. Hey, read that again. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul. Refusing instruction. Look, older people, like Brother James, he may not like, he may like it when somebody comes and interrupts what he's doing and asks a question. But you know what? He'll give you an answer. Yes, sir. But you know what? If he answers you, if I answer you, if Brother David answer you a little curtly, a little abruptly, don't be offended by that. Look, refuseth instruction, despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. Look, ask the questions, please. We're encouraged to ask the questions, but don't be offended if it's not answered the way you want it to. We're not asking you to learn. What we're asking you to learn is to learn how to learn, okay? Learn how to learn. And that's what questions are all about. That's what that researching, that searching, that digging, well, wait a minute, why? Why do you do it that way? How come you don't do it that way? I'm telling you, that curiosity, that needs to be treasured, folks. That needs to be nurtured, fostered, and treasured. It's something that, like I said, where I live, it's lacking, and the culture, the country is suffering from it. Man, I got to move on. Go down. Despiseth his own soul. Now look, go down to Jeremiah. Jeremiah 21. Look at this. Look at verse 8. And unto this people thou shalt say, Thus saith the Lord, Behold, I set before you the way of life and the way of death. So now look, that's what this is all about. Just, as I said, we want you to learn how to learn. So this learning curve, this learning experience, this is what it leads to. God has set before you the way of life and the way of death. The way of death was put in place, Genesis chapter 3. It's there. It's all around you. Do nothing. You'll acquire it. Do nothing. You'll be great at it. But yet, God has set another way, and that's the way of life. And it comes through learning. It comes through study. It comes through being in church. It comes to listening to preaching. It comes to asking questions. Lots and lots of questions. You need to learn how to learn. Now look, I say we're going to divide your life into thirds, right? I'm going to run out. Look, you never stop. Right? Life goes on. Now, it's not like these, there's a line of demarcation and you go from, you're learning and then you stop learning and then go into the next phase. No, obviously, this thing continues and carries on. Let's do this. Go down to, let's go back in the book of Proverbs. So, let me just say this. Over in James chapter 1, I think it's verse 19, it says, let everyone be swift to hear and slow to speak. Okay? Why? If we're told to ask questions, if you're told what I'm supposed to be learning, well, how about this? Young people, sometimes you have the propensity to speak just to be heard. Let me just give you this. Look, before you open your mouth, ask yourself this question. Is what I'm about to say going to edify somebody else? Okay? You know, that will save a lot of embarrassment in your growing up. Okay. Go to Proverbs 19. Proverbs 19. Let's look at verse 20. Hear counsel. That's learning. Receive instruction. That's learning. That thou mayest be wise in thy latter end. And that's what we're talking about, brethren. This is all preparatory. Learning is to set you up for the rest of your life. That's what this is. This is the best fellowship you're ever going to have. Seriously, these are the best friends you'll ever make. You leave here, you go on into the mission field, you go to another state, start a church, whatever it is. You know, you're going to leave behind all of these great relationships you've started. It's the latter end we're dealing with. This isn't forever. The latter end. You are long-range missiles. You are the artillery. You're described as the arrow, right? We're going to put you on that bow and send long range. We want to send you out. Send you out to do what? Take the things you've learned and teach them to somebody else, right? Okay, we'll get there. Look at go down to verse 15, chapter 15, Proverbs 15. Look at verse 14. The heart of him that hath understanding seeketh knowledge. So once you've started to learn how to learn, you seek it continually. You look for more and more. But the mouth of fools feedeth on foolishness. Now that's the world system. The long-range view of the world system is you're going to like what you're tasting. You're going to like what the world's feeding you. You want to stay right there. Fools feedeth on foolishness. What are you learning? How are you edifying anybody else? You know what you're learning? That you don't need to learn any social skills because all of my relationships are electronic. All my relationships, all my conversations are virtual. And then when you got to go out on the street next Friday, you stand there like a buffoon and you can't even get a conversation going because you don't know how to interact. You need to learn. Now, foolishness. Who wants to feed on that? Man, we want to get you out of that thing. Go down to, go to Jeremiah. Go back to Jeremiah real quickly. You can see I wasn't really well prepared for this, but you know what? Jeremiah chapter 3. Oh, here we are. Chapter 3, verse 15. Look at this. I will give you pastors according to mine heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. Now, that's exactly the opposite of what the world's feeding you. It doesn't matter what medium it comes through. I mean, you can't drive down the road without seeing pornography. That's what they want you feeding on. We want you to step higher. You're here to learn. We're trying to present the better food, the more nutritious food, the healthier food. You want to stay out there in the cesspit? Go feed yourself out there. We want you to come in here and get fed with good food. That's what this is. So every time Brother Lee and Brother Knox, everybody, they open up the Bible for you, man, they're feeding you the best food available on the planet. Absolutely the best. We don't want you feeding out there in the cesspit. We want you dining with the King of Kings. All right, let's do this. I gotta really move along here. Okay, let's end that. Again, the learning process continues on. But let's take it now, you've just turned 31. All right? So now you've entered that second phase of your life. Learning. What do you do with what do you do with what you've learned? I'm not just talking Bible. What do you do with what you've learned? Why do you go to school? Well, I hope you go to school to learn, have an education so you can get a good job, learn a skill, a vocational skill, whatever the thing is, so that you can earn a living, okay? But there's more to it than just earning money, earning a living. You've got to have that spiritual mindset as well, that long-range vision. Remember that. So now go down to, let's go to Job chapter 20. Yeah, Job 22. Let's do that. So what do you do with what you've learned? You enter that learning phase, that earning phase. Look at 22:2. Great question here. Can a man be profitable unto God, as he that is wise may be profitable unto himself? Now look, you got to be profitable unto yourself. You got to be able to feed yourself. You got to be able to provide for yourself. You want a family, you got to be able to provide. So you need to learn those things. You need to learn, the math, the science, the social studies, all those things that are going to get you that job. You don't need to worship that job. You should probably be considering a job rather than a career. I'm not saying you shouldn't have, a good technical job, but I agree with Brother Lee. I think, if we all went back to an agricultural society, we'd probably be a whole lot better off, but that's not the case. So look, you fix computers, you program computers, fine. But don't make that the center of your life. Can man be profitable unto God? What do you think? Yes! Yes, he can. How? Because everything that you just learned back there, God now has the expectation that you're going to start applying it and start earning his attaboys. Okay? That's at that judgment seat of Christ, all the rewards and all that. Yeah, but look, right here and now as well. I hope you've understood, I hope you've learned by now that, doing right has its rewards right here and now. It's not just, out there in that long-term future by and by. No. Amen. You can be profitable. Look at Titus chapter 3. Profitable right here, right now. Now look, remember, over there in Job it said you're profitable for yourself, but profitable for God as well, right? Look at verse 8, 3:8, Titus 3:8. This is a faithful saying, and these things I will, that thou affirm constantly, that they which have believed in God might be careful to maintain good works. Why? These things are good and profitable unto me. No, unto men, right? Men, to everybody else. Look, that's what God's looking for. And don't you see it's just exactly the opposite of the way the world looks at this thing? The world's economy says, give me another bowl of rice. Come on, the world's all about me. The world's all about me getting what I want. I want it now. I want it right away. Give me more. Give me twice. God just said these things are profitable. The stuff that you do, the things that you learn here now and in church where you're from, those things are good works, and they're provided for other people. That's God's economy. So he can reward you. So he can, because it's what he wants to do. Yeah, it's interesting. Paul said that. Here's a man who gave up everything. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. Now, you might look at my wife and I and say, well, we've sacrificed. Wait, not like that. Not like that. All right. Let's go to Isaiah. Isaiah 26. I know we're doing a lot of verses, and this may not be a lot of fun, but I just got a burden for the youth because Brother Lee gave a little bit of a testimony. I was 36 years old before I got saved. I had 14 years in the Coast Guard. I had lived the life of a sailor, and I enjoyed it. I am not bragging, please, I am not bragging. But if you've ever read stories about sailors, I read those too, and I wanted to be like them. That was stupid. I didn't learn. I learned, but I learned all the wrong things. So when I got saved in 1989, I already had 14 years in, and my life changed so dramatically, so drastically, that they just about told me to leave. But look, the burden is that you young people will learn how to learn and how to maintain and apply what you've learned, okay? And so as you get to that third phase, which we're about to step into, the third phase where I am, Brother James has been there for a long time, and you'll see. But it's all preparation. It's all preparation. Look at this. This you're in that earning phase. Look at now let's go into the return phase. So you started off with learning, went into the earning, and now it's returning. Earn, learn, return. Now, I want you to look at Isaiah 26. Did I say that? Isaiah 26. This is the last one in this. Look at 26:9. With my soul have I desired thee in the night. Yea, with my spirit within me will I seek thee early. For when thy judgments are in the earth, the inhabitants of the world will learn righteousness. You see what just happened? All of that righteousness he talked about, all of that learning, all of that instruction, all of those reproofs, all that chastisement, all of those things were for your learning, for our learning. Why? So we can now give it to somebody else. Aren't you called the salt of the earth? Yes, well, when you start living that righteousness, what are you doing? You're giving this smelly old world of a cesspit something, you're giving it some flavor, okay? You stand out. You stand out like the oddity. You come down there any Friday afternoon. But so what? So what? Do you really want to blend into the cesspit? No, man. Step up, step out, stand there. Hey, Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. There ain't no other way, man. Your philosophy smells. So look, start adding some flavor to the world. You're the salt. You're the light. That's our responsibility here. Go do this. Go over to Luke. Let's go down to Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8. Now look, this is kind of neat, I think. Look at verse 39. Well, let's go back to verse 38. Now the man out of whom the devils were departed besought him, Jesus, that he might be with him. But Jesus sent him away, saying, Return. Learn, earn, return. Return to thine own house. Wait a minute, Jesus. I want to be with you. What do you mean, back there? Good grief, they threw me out. They got me living down here in the tomb. I want to go back there. Why can't I be with you? How about this? Jesus knows. He looks at that man and he says, wait a minute. I have already done so much for you in a moment of time. You've gotten it. What are you going to do with it? Keep it and follow me back into town? You're just going to be another one of the men in lockstep formation as we walk down the street? I want you to go back there. I want you to go back to your town. I want you to go back to your home. I want you to go back to those people you've offended. I want you to go back and talk to those people at high school and show them what great things he's done for you. How about that? That's the meaning to life, and that's learning how to learn. Using what you've been given, what you've experienced in life to show somebody else that truth, to bring that light, to be that salt. Go back. We look at that, like Brother Lee was saying, what? No, it's the right thing. It's the right thing to do. It's the right way to do it. You know this one, Romans chapter 12. I'm 5 minutes over my time, David. Romans chapter 12, everybody knows this. Chapters 1 and 2, I beseech you therefore by the mercies, brethren, by the mercies of God, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove. If you haven't learned, you can't prove. If you haven't experienced it, you haven't applied it, you can't prove it. You need to prove it. You can't just take what the pastor says, what the Sunday school teacher says, and just take it and just let it sit there. You just prove it. You need to take it out there, take it on the sidewalk, take it into the market, whatever, and use it. Push that thing around. See if it stands up. Amen. Okay, that's our responsibility. You're to prove these things. That is not just a book to read to try to fill your head with Bible quotations. This is the life book right here. And so where does it belong? In your life, out there in life. It's not for Sunday. It's for real. Right. Reasonable service. Let me just, I'm done. I'm over my time, but let me just, over in Genesis chapter 30, I believe it's verse 27, right around there. You find out about a guy by the name of Laban, okay? Laban. And this is Jacob's uncle. And Jacob has been working for his uncle. And since Jacob has come, Laban's flocks, his herds, have increased exponentially. He's now become a very wealthy and powerful man. And he says, by experience, I have learned. How about that? That's true learning. That's real learning. He's experienced it. It's not just this ethereal concept, this theory out there that I've not proved. No, I can show you that since you've come, I've been prosperous. I've increased. I've been benefited by your presence. Can anybody say that about you? I sure hope so. If not, you still got time. Make it happen. Now, you know what happens? Let me show you something. He did not learn how to learn. He said, I have learned by experience that I'm getting fed, I'm getting what I want, I'm getting wealthy. And then when it comes time for Jacob to leave, he hears the sons saying, this Jacob's taken all of our stuff. This is our dad's stuff. If it wasn't for our dad, he wouldn't have any of this stuff. It's the other way around, mind you. You know what that is? That's the lesson you learned in the cesspit. That doesn't belong with you. You see, he didn't learn the lesson well. All he learned was greed. He didn't learn how to apply the gratitude, the thankfulness, the appreciation of what had happened in his life by the influence of somebody who knew God. That's our responsibility, folks. That's our responsibility. Now, I gotta quit. One last. Go to Proverbs 15. One last verse. Here's Laban. 15:27. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house. You see that? He caused his own sons to fail. I mean, you think about it. He only shows up a few more verses in the Bible. He and his family, they've disappeared from the biblical record. He's not there anymore. Jacob and all, they go on. Now, what is it? Greed kills. It's just the way it is. That's the lessons of the cesspit. It's the way of death. Simply the way of death. Okay? That stuff is evil. Greed is evil, along with a bazillion other things. But look, again, you're here to learn how to have fun. You're here to learn how to establish relationships that should last you a lifetime. You're here to enjoy one another's company. And you're here to learn that you've got a family of people here that for the rest of your life you should be able to count on. You should be able to, brother, would you just pray with me? Brother, can I talk to you about something? Hey, I don't understand this. Can you help me with this? That's why these relationships are so serious, and they need to be sincere. You need to learn how to learn. So look, why did I say all this? Because when I got saved, prior to that time, my life, I was just adrift. No real design, no goals, just, I'll give you a stupid saying. Friends would come over and Saturday morning, hey, what you doing, Steve? Just killing time. Killing time. Your life is a what? Vapor that appeareth for a little time and then vanisheth away, and you're wasting it? I can't. Take this right, please. I used to say, when I first got saved, I used to say, Lord, I wish I had the money that I wasted all those years partying. Today, I'd give 10 times that amount of money if I could just have the time back, if I could just get the years back. You're young. Don't waste it. You're in a position to make a difference. You're in a position to change things. Right there, brethren, right there. You are the long-range missiles. You are that artillery. Yeah. You're the future. Don't waste it. Don't waste it. Don't abuse it. Take care of it. Learn how to learn. Apply what you've learned, and then return what you've learned. Okay? Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brother Holt. I hope you're paying attention to that. What he said is so true and so wise. The time of your life right now, it's all about learning. It's about preparing yourself for what's ahead. Youth is not just all about wasting time. It's about preparing for eternity. You can't kill time without injuring eternity. Don't waste it. Wise men lay up knowledge. That's what Proverbs says. It means they get more than they need at the moment. If all you know is everything you know right now, that's going to run out quick. Better learn all you can. Do something with it. 326, let's stand and sing. You can come to the altar. The Lord's dealt with your heart and you do business with God. Feel free while we sing number 326. More about Jesus, what I know. More about Jesus, let me learn. Where am I going to do that? More about Jesus in His Word. Verse number 1, more about Jesus.